What's up, true believers? It is I, the OGGM. How you doing? It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's the 14th day of November 2022. It's about 64 degrees and sunny here at Site B, and it's time to take a look at all the PDF freebies, sales, knockdowns, and of course, bundles! Why do I need to? I don't know. Why do I do that? Okay, so as always, with my usual warning when I start this is 1, before you download any PDFs or files or anything, especially video games or programs for the 3D printers, please check them for viruses and malware. I have 2 experiences over the past year or so, since 2021, of downloading some of these collections and having them riddled with viruses and malware. And 2, in regards to the charity bundles, as much as I appreciate the charities, if you have a charity you want to support, like, say, Team Primetime, perhaps just give the money directly to the charity instead of getting the bundles, unless the bundle is something you absolutely have to get, and you would have gotten it anyways. As always, links to anything I think is worth your time, and I, of course, will make fun of anything I don't think is worth your time. But that said, don't listen to anything I say. I'm an idiot. So make up your own mind. If it's something you want, support it. Moving on to the freebies for this week. Unless mentioned otherwise, all these are going to be on Drive-Thru or DM's Guild. And I assume a lot of them are going to be holiday themed. Chaosium has a set of handouts for Cthulhu add up. This is called Regency Cthulhu, and it's to add death to the idea of Jane Austen and H.P. Lovecraft. So, Pride, Prejudice, and Tentacle Monsters. That could be fun. That is free on, actually, Chaosium's site. Wow, that's rarity. From Geek Rampage, we have Persona Portfolio, a collection of NPCs for Mork Borg, including an adventure called Challenges of Vanth. So this includes 20 NPCs set for the Mork Borg universe, specifically the adventure Challengers of Xanth. Over Drive-Thru, we have Those Who Would Own the Blade, an introductory scenario for the game Antagonists from James Somerton. Those Who Own the Blade take on the roles of important figures in prominent mercenary companies. So, Black Company, I guess, type of thing. We have a rules light RPG, one-page RPG from something called On Contraire Publishing called Fantasy Boy Band. This is a rules light one-page RPG. It's available both in English and French, about a group of bards at a fantasy land seeking fame and fortune as a boy band, with all the dangers that going on tour as a boy band in a fantasy world would be. So BTS in a fantasy world. G-Dragon laying down the smack against a dragon. City of Mist has a adventure up called The Pact by Alan Sanchez. The Pact was formed by those the Council of Truth deemed too dangerous to live, proving for them just how dangerous they can be. Who watches the Watchers of the City? So basically, it's like a Watchmen style setting adventure for City of Mist. Occupied Hex Games has released a RPG called Steel and Spirit. This is a matchup of D&D and Lasers and Feelings. It's a simple fantasy RPG. The book includes a sample adventure using tables and stuff like that. So if you're looking for a combination of D&D and Lasers and Feelings, we now have one called Steel and Spirit, because that's something the universe was just crying out for. Escape Box Games has released something called Welcome to Mastodon. This is a bundle for the suited card-based RPG. The bundle features 16 progress, including rules, supplements, adventures, and even a custom-to-ready deck of cards. Welcome to Mastodon. Set for the suited pocket adventure system, the suited RPG card deck. What is suited? Looks like it's a fantasy type game or just a generic universal type game that uses a deck of cards. otherwise known as Savage Worlds. Over at the DM's Guild, Zachary K has posted The Mutant, a monstrous class for low magic setting. This is a class that allows characters to become mutants whose bestial, physical, and martial abilities grow stronger as they level similar to Sorcerer's Bloodline. There already was a Mutation Abomination Sorcerer's Bloodline, so this guy's just doing the exact same thing. George Nixon gives us a first holiday season adventure of the year. At least one of those it's called Rolling the Die Hard, a vaguely Christmas one-shot. Features maps, handouts, stat blocks, and new magic items as players are invited to a party at Baldur's Gate at the trade spire of Platomi Nakaza. As sure, nothing will go wrong. So it's based upon the single greatest Christmas movie ever, Die Hard. This is a one-shot, vaguely Christmas adventure set in Baldur's Gate in a trade spire where, somebody does stuff. The players' handbooks have to stop it. Come on out to the Baldur's Gate. Take a vacation. You'll enjoy it. Andrew Davis gives us A Time to Save the Donuts. Adventures for 5th level characters. They help the proprietors of Dolly's Donuts discover who is trying to drive their eatery out of business. I literally wrote this as a joke adventure like half a year ago. This is following off of the whole Strixhaven coffee shop, diapers, and dungeons meme. Okay, so just a reminder that the guy who wrote the Strixhaven coffee shop adventure and the follow-up Strixhaven Easter candy adventure was making fun of Strixhaven. So, yeah, this whole comfort D&D. I want to play a role-playing game where I play a guy who works at Starbucks or at a donut store. Why don't you just get off your lazy ass and go get a job at Starbucks? Okay, so it was a joke. Skylar Holmes has given us a weather for 5e, extreme conditions and survival. If the weather rules in 5e aren't hardcore enough, are there actual weather rules in 5e? This guy, Skylar, has given us weather rules to make weather truly dangerous in 5e, or as dangerous as anything in 5e can be. Samwise and Miyazaki have released Engines and Enigmas, offering a full source book of rules for a steampunk take on Dungeons & Dragons 5e, otherwise known as Eberron. It's already been done. Speaking of new rule systems, we have one but not two takes on Psionics. Keith Highscox has released a playtest version of Scion class for 5e, and Perry Fox Smith has also released a Scion class for 5e. So these are both classes that do psychics in 5e, which is basically just a take on doing sorcerers, but in a different way. So instead of casting spells, you're using your psychic abilities. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Over at Storyteller's Vault, we have The Future is Now Old Men, a supplement to add cyberpunk-inspired elements to World of Darkness. Why not? There was a long time ago something called Necropolis, which was an attempt to add World of Darkness to cyberpunk-type stuff. So now it looks like this guy's bringing it back again. The Future is Now Old Men, a supplement to add cyberpunk-inspired elements to World of Target from Guillermo Macrip Sancho, released on the Storyteller's Vault. I like the idea of combining Vampire the Masquerade, World of Darkness with cyberpunk as an alternate take on the idea. Are they vampires, or are they just somebody who's had a full body sculpt? And then we have the usual collection of free maps over at Drive-Thru. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different free maps this week. Okay. Moving on to bundles. Drive-Thru has 1 day left on their sale for the Onyx Path High Fantasy Exalted bundle. This bundle ends today at midnight. It contains everything for the 3rd edition rules of Exalted. How do you describe Exalted? Japanese anime / Chinese wireworks / big guys wearing big swords. I cannot talk today. For $19, Skirmish Publishing has a bundle of their setting and world buildings for their world. Full settings based on history or mythology source books to help you create realistic worlds and random tables to add details to your world. This is on Drive-Thru. It contains a whole bunch of 100 things to find in a sewer type books. It has a source book for Wonderland, source book for a couple other things. So basically, these guys are like converting real world Earth mythology, Earth fantasy, Earth ideas into what if Hercules was a D&D thing. From Realm Warp Media, we have The Weird Street. It's a D20 based pulp fantasy game based around low-class heroes in a fantasy city. The bundle includes the core rulebook, game master's guide, and campaign guide, everything you need to do a D20 based pulp fantasy game in a fantasy city for $39. Keith Hiscox has released a collection of gothic horror races for Dungeons & Dragons. The bundle features 4 books of over a dozen new races and variations for having player character undead for $5. Charity bundles! Mongoose has 2 bundles up for Traveler. The first bundle features the Traveler core rules, along with some source books for the Traveler core rules. This is a $13 bundle, and it goes to direct relief, which means 10% of all the funds made will go directly to the creators of the project. Then there's a second bundle for Traveler called Traveler Great Rift, featuring 402 pages of campaign information and stuff on the Traveler setting. This is $10, and it goes to support direct relief. There's a Mutants and Masterminds bundle up on Humble Bundle of Holding from Green Ronin. It's called Mutants and Masterminds Earth Prime Bundle. It's a starter collection featuring their basic Heroes Handbook, stripped down core rules, a rogues gallery collection of supervillains, and everything else you need to run a Mutants and Masterminds tabletop role-playing game, superhero role-playing game from Green Ronin. $15. This goes to direct release, which means 10% of the profit goes directly to the creators. And if you want more Mutants and Masterminds, there's a Mutants Power-Up bundle featuring all the expansions for Mutants and Masterminds, including the Deluxe Game Master's Guide, the Super Team Handbook, and the Time Traveler's Codex. This is $15, and again, it's direct relief. Pellegrin Plus has a Call of Cthulhu Gumshoe combination system for horror investigation. The starter collection includes Cthulhu Confidential core rules, plus the Howling Fog, House in the Hills, and some other adventures, including the Night's Black Agent solo ops. If that sounds familiar, that's based upon the book series Night's Black Agents. So this is Cthulhu combined with Gumshoe. Pulp, 1950s, fedora, mystery solving, and Cthulhu. This is $13, and it goes to support the Cochrane Report. There's a Battletech bundle from Catalyst Games up on Humble Bumble. This includes everything you need to play Battletech. $30 gets you everything in the collection, including the Battletech Beginner Box for 1 physical copy of the Battletech Beginner Box, as well as every other Battletech book for PDFs. And this goes to support our veterans from the Navy Marines Corps Relief Society. There's a bundle of board games and DLC expansions based upon tabletop board games. 37 Steam codes for various board games that have been converted to video worlds for only $15, and this goes to support world builders. There's also a collection of maps ready for your favorite VTT, except possibly D&D Beyond, including various maps, caves, camps, crypts, stuff like that. $18 gets you 64 separate collection of maps. This goes also to support the Navy Marine Corps release, supporting our veterans. Paizo has a Starfinder Pathfinder bundle up. $45 gets you every single solitary Pathfinder 2E core rulebook and every single solitary Starfinder core rulebook that Paizo has made so far, and this goes to support the Carl Brandon Society. As always, if you want to support any of these charities like the Carl Brandon Society or Veterans or PETA or, Society for Protection of Sandwiches, maybe instead of buying these bundles, purchase them directly from the charity. Give money to the charity directly. Do any of these really stand out to me? Cthulhu Gumshoe, maybe? The world building books, maybe? But nothing this week really just jumps out at me. So make up your own mind. If any of these sound like something you want to support, great, cool. Battletech would be a good one if I played Battletech. If you've ever wanted to get into Battletech, maybe the Battletech one would be something to get. Other than that, nothing really just jumps out at me. I was expecting a lot more parody Christmas-themed adventures, but I guess not. Anyways, as always, I appreciate you taking part and watching me talk about these. If any of these products sound like something you want to support, they can all be found on Humble Bundle, Drive-Thru, or DM's Guild. No links today because nothing really jumps out at me, but at least they're trying, so thank you. And it's a great way to support small press and independent publishers and maybe get your hands on starter sets. But these all of these, except for the Battletech one, are PDFs. So if you do download any of these PDFs, check them for viruses and malware or whatever they're called. I don't know. Nothing's going to top the Wizards of the Coast thing that I started the day with. So just expect the rest of the news just to be downhill. Nothing's going to top that. And the effects we're going to feel from it. We're going to be talking about that for days. Yeah. So just brace yourself now, boys and girls. Till next time, I'm the OGGM. Thank you for taking part of this experiment. If you appreciate the nonsense that comes out of my mouth, maybe consider supporting the OGGM by subscribing and helping me hit 1,000 subs. Also, I've got a ton of merch available, so if you want to really get the loved ones in your life something that truly says, I support gaming in the holidays, pick up some OGGM merch. I got nothing else to say. See ya.